Well, hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite Written Writ. Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. A show we get creative, we geek out, we have fun, we do all that good stuff in about an hour, hopefully. If not, the geek out gets long and we end up doing a little longer. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I have to say, Rafael, the last theme song I did air guitar to. This one I whistle to. So just letting you know how
I
I
gotta
handle
say, yeah,
it
this
in
one
the
has more
background.
anime feel to it, and
Yeah, it's
our
definitely like
friend
a
Jolene,
clean sound to it.
yeah,
We'll
she
see
did a
always
great
once
job
for
of
air
putting that
guitar.
together.
Yeah, it's good. Just let you know. It's good.
We were at Long Island Tabletop this weekend, and I have to tell you, folks, we had a blast. Paul
Was
was over there having
that
fun.
last weekend? It seems like it was like a week and a half ago at this
You're not
point.
kidding me. That does feel like it was a long time ago. I can't believe it's over because I feel like we were waiting in anticipation for tabletop. I usually wait for it because we have a lot of friends and we do a lot of hangout. And one of these years I'll get to play a game there. Paul, what did you like the most about it?
Several things. One, the venue is phenomenal. I always like Cradle of Aviation. It's such a great museum. That's one. Two, I have to say, it's like other cons that I've done. It's like you see people just with two, focused laser beams for Marvel or DC, and that's it. It's like they don't open their eyes to anything else. What I loved about this con was a lot of independent game makers, and everyone was like stopping almost every table. It was so cool, and it's just neat to see creative people get recognized. And you're not seeing like you saw some Magic, you saw some Pokemon, but really that's all I saw. Everything else was pretty much independent. And it was really cool. It was between the dice makers, the guy who makes the tables is just incredible, and then the games themselves. I mean, I bought several games only because I was being nefarious and thinking, okay, maybe Time Enforcers can do this as well, which I started, believe it or not. So it's kind of cool. I'm just psyched to be able to attend that event and do it. Rafael, we had a great time. It's really a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I gotta say, I love the Cradle of Aviation. Christina, have you done CradleCon yet?
Not.
Yeah, you got to do CradleCon. It's amazing. I love any event that has a presence as the location because it becomes a character in the con. You're not just going to a con at whatever location. It's the con in the Cradle of Aviation. So now you have an event inside of an event.
I don't know. I feel like I would want to just play the games there rather than sell stuff.
You telling me? That's why we love LI Tabletop because it's as you can see, they have the table set up. You can go there, play your own games, play their games. They had a whole section where you can pull games from them. Our friends from the board games, I'm trying to remember their name. But they had a bunch of games there as well. They were doing giveaways, charity, a bunch of beautiful things. So it was just amazing.
games for good.
Yeah, games for the better. Board games for the better. There you go. They are amazing. If you guys want to help out a good charity, that's a good charity to help out because they bring games to kids out there. Oh, there they go, right there.
Yeah. Really nice people, tell you.
Fantastic people. Yeah, folks, if you haven't had a chance to go to any of these cons at the Cradle of Aviation, do yourself a favor. It's LI Tabletop, Cradle Con, LI Retro, and Festival of Games. I think I'm forgetting one.
Yeah, CradleCon is early this year. It was in, I think, July last year. Now it's in May. So they popped it around a little bit. It's interesting.
Yeah, folks. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Folks, today we have a lot of beautiful stuff happening. Of course, Sean Wood is with us. You're new with us, so I'm going to give you the floor first. Give the people the spiel, especially because you have a Kickstarter that you need to kick off.
Yeah, so Recon and the Wild One is our second one shot in our universe of Recon's universe. Basically, the world has ended, and robots have been built to save the last of humanity. Humanity lost. The robots lost the reason to do their job anymore. In the first one shot, it was called Recon and the Little One, and he heard a scream, Recon, our bot, and he woke up from years of just rusting, having no purpose. There was a little girl, and he goes into action and saves her. from the zombies, and that was a one shot. It ended at the end of that issue, and then this is 12 years later, a second one shot, and it's called Recon and the Wild One. The little one has grown up. She has been by herself for a little while, and now she is stronger than ever. She was afraid in the first one; the robot was protecting her. Now you find out in the second one that she is actually protecting the robot.
Ooh, I like the twist.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The reason why I even started this one-shot universe, I've been doing comics for about 3 years now, and I had my own series called The Fog Within on issue 5 of that now. And one of my creator friends, Travis Gibb, he said, you need to write something else. You can't just do one universe. You can't do one story. And I was like, well, this is what I got into comics for, was this one series. And I really thought about it. And I was like, what if I did another series? What would I do? And this is actually a love letter for my daughter. She's 5 years old. And that's actually her stuffed bunny that you see in the new one and the first one. And
I
it's
have to say that right away, I picked up on that. As I'm looking at it, I started thinking about my own daughter, and I was like, okay, I have this feeling that this has something to do like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. So my daughter is the little one in the first one, and she's scared and she needs protection. And I wanted to show her that me and my son, his quirky attitude, we are the robot, and that we're here to protect her. And then in the second one, I want to show her what she can do as a young adult. That she's going to be that strong, fearless leader that I know she can be. And just with zombies involved, zombies and robots, you got to add that, because who doesn't like robots versus zombies? So.
I love the combination of, you don't usually see zombies and robots.
Yep. Yeah. So in the first one, you don't know that there's other robots involved, but it's Recon the robot, and he's got this quirky attitude. And there's a lot of scary moments, a lot of emotional ties. She at one point reaches out for the stuffed bunny named Flopsy, and she risks everything to keep that bunny. And we don't say why, but you have a feeling that since she's alone, this is all she has left of her family, that she'll risk everything for that bunny. And Recon goes in and saves her. And she actually still has the bunny in the second one. And the bunny, because she's by herself for these past 12 years or so, the bunny is talking to her, and she doesn't think anything of it. So he has kind of this British mentality to him, this proper mentality, and it gives her courage, even though really the courage is coming from within. She's putting this outward appearance of courage with the bunny, and she does some crazy things. And this right here is one of my favorite pages. It's a little crazy, but she basically showing that she's fearless, that she's going in to save Recon, and she's willing to risk everything. And she's not afraid to do it. It just shows how kind of a crazy attitude she has now, but also how strong she is. So,
like she's going right into the line of fire. Yeesh.
Yep. Yeah. So she basically, in the page right before this, I show she has this device that she basically has a radio that is also attached to a blade. She stabs into one of the zombies in this grocery store and then pushes them out. So it calls in the other zombies to make a horde. The robots are guarding this place, but now they're overrun by zombies. So she kind of like maneuvers in between all the zombies, and she's really in the middle of all the fire. She could get shot, but she's fearless, so she gets through it.
I gotta say, I like the fact that it's something that we've seen before, but at the same time, it's something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And she actually, you find out when you read the comic, I haven't really shed why in the Kickstarter, but she has this suit now that in the middle of the issue that she gets that helps her be more robotic and more souped up with powers. And there's some kind of reminiscence of the first issue of what Recon does for her, she does for him, which I thought was pretty cool.
I like it. I like how your writing is growing the story. It's evolving. It's turning into things. You're not being stagnant in your storytelling.
Oh yeah, yeah. The idea is kind of different for this one, because normally one shots is just a one shot and then you're done. But I'm doing different time periods as one shots in this universe. So the first one was she's small. The second one, she's an adult, and then the third one actually goes back and it really explains like the beginning days of the zombie apocalypse and the robots that Recon deals with, kind of like a military theme kind of book. How he is like in the trenches with his brigade and things like that. And then there's going to be a culmination of these 3 one-shots in different time periods. Will be a finale that'll be intertwined with all these 3 one-shots, basically. So it'll be 4 issues of this universe, 3 one-shots, and a finale kind of thing. So
you were saying earlier that you started all this stuff off because you wanted to tell a certain comic story. We feel you, because most of us start off the same way. We start off to tell a certain story. We got a certain book that we want to get done. And then, other stuff happens,
Right.
I know Travis says that you need to do more, but sometimes you just stick with what you know. But I feel like if there's more stories to tell, you tell more stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely have the bug now because, this was my second series that I started with the Recon stuff. And then I was actually a part of Hospice Season 2 on Kickstarter already. It was the first one last year. And I had another story called The Scaled Key. So I have a third series that I started. And now when I finish those, there's 3 different stories I've got going on that I think I'll keep on going. As long as I can keep on funding on Kickstarter and doing cons and everything, then I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon. I definitely have the bug for sure.
Oh, definitely. And there's always another story to tell. I have that problem. My problem isn't not having enough stories. It's having enough time to tell all those stories.
That's true. Oh yeah.
So there's 3 things I want to say. One, whenever I come on Rafael's show, I always go to back the guy. So can't wait to see your artwork, John. It looks really cool. I'm excited about that. Actually, 2 things. The second thing is I don't like zombie stories only because I feel if I'm in a zombie story, I'm going to be a zombie. I'm never going to be the guy. It's like, no. That's the one big thing I with zombie stories. I always have this fear that I will be the zombie. So
that's fair. Yeah. My son actually, my kids are always involved in all the comics. And my son said, since he's the attitude of the robot, that I had to be a zombie in the first issue and he wanted to punch me in the face. And so there's a random scene, like you always have that like slow down scene where you're explaining something like quickly. You're not like explaining, but so I was saying something as a robot, and then there's a random like annoying zombie that just makes that random noise, and he just like punches him to the side and just keeps on walking, and that's me in my my everyday attire for work, basically. And my son just thinks it's hilarious. so I am the zombie.
So what I got from what you've shown to everyone, it's like Terminator meets Walking Dead meets Castaway, because the bunny's kind of like Wilson.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't thought about that, but yeah, I should definitely add that to the Kickstarter page.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're taking the best parts of these different ideas and you're making it your own, which I think that's great storytelling, because like The Simpsons have done everything.
Yeah.
And so you're putting your own spin on this great story. I love robots and I love zombie stories, so I think this is really great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I never planned on this from the get-go, but yeah, it's definitely becoming one of my favorites. And especially since I'm showing, the whole reason why I started comics in general was because I want to show my kids you can do anything you set your mind to. Nobody can stop you. And doing this for my daughter specifically, she's very proud. She can't really read it. There's not like language in it, but of course there's zombies and she's 5. But she sees certain pages and it makes her, brighten up and glow. And I have the shirt that I normally wear like cons, and she's always pointing out like that's me, because it's literally her right now, the same, just she doesn't put her hair in a ponytail like that, but it's her stuffed bunny.
So Sean, what you need to do is you need to get a shirt or something that just has the bunny.
Oh yeah. Well, now since the second one it's talking, it would be even more.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like this. I like when creators get people to have a tier where they can be in the book. They can be a zombie in the book.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and he's great at it too.
I could be a zombie then. This is
drawn in as a zombie.
Yep, and there's 3 left. So yeah, we've already completed the entire book, lettering and everything, but we are going back just for the draw in pages. So a lot of times when I do the comics, it'll be one page that has like 4 different people drawn in for whatever reason, whether it's a rebel in my other series or what have you. But Dave, he actually uses one page per person, so they're a little bigger than you normally would see them as a drawn in character, which is pretty cool. And actually, one of my friends. A couple cities away, he had his kid drawn in as a zombie, and it was in his sports uniform in high school. It was perfect. It's crazy looking. Dave's an incredible artist, and yeah, he can change anything out easily.
Very cool.
Yeah, you gotta have fun with this. Yeah, you gotta entice the people to support you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's fun for me to see too. So it's fun. The first one, I had a lot of good reviews and a lot of people coming back, loving it. And that's always good to hear. And then of course, when they're thrown into the zombie or the higher tiers, the embossed metals and things like that, they're just blown away. And it just makes me happy that other people like what I'm creating. So.
I love it. I love the idea you have here. I like how personal it is.
Thank
because
you.
I've seen creators that are like, I gotta do another story, and I gotta do something else, and they just throw whatever at the wall and see if it sticks. Yeah. But I feel like you actually thought it through, decided this is what I'm gonna do, and this is why it's special to me, and I'm gonna do this, for my daughter because of this, and I feel that's the kind of writing or creating that kind of like levels it up a notch.
Yeah. Well, the way when I started, and I still do, I'm in Scott Snyder's class on Substack for writing.
Oh, and
cool. One of the first things that he says is you need to have emotional ties to your story.
Yeah.
How can you make it personal like that? Because when your emotions are showing, then it shows to everyone else that's reading it too, and they want to be tied into it as well. So that's what I've tried to do.
That's important, yeah. Have you been as part of their book, their what's it called?
No, not the anthology.
The anthology, yeah.
I've reached out, but no, I haven't been a part of that one. I'm part of a couple other anthologies on the side, but not in Scott Snyder's. No.
Yeah, because our pals from there come on and they start talking about the whole anthology, So I've always found it interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, I used to meet when I first started. I was meeting him, Scott Snyder, once a month for the first year, and he gave me reviews actually on the first recon, and suggestions and what he liked about it and what he thought I should rework or what have you, and what didn't make sense, what didn't come off as the reader, because as a writer, it's all in your head. So whether it's on the page or not, what's going on. But if the reader has no idea and you're not relaying it properly, you're not going to know until the people read it. So Scott was instrumental in helping me guide me in my first year and a half of writing to make more sense. So,
and it's another thing that people barely talk about, because nobody ever talks about writing in comics. Everybody talks about art in comics, but nobody really talks about writing in comics. And writing in comics is a certain craft. It's a certain thing, because most people think you're just writing a script, and they may have similarities, but it's a whole different animal.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I love it. And there's so many different ways you can do it too. There's not one set way. There's the outline. There's sometimes exactly how everything is going to go in the story, or sometimes you're going to have just the first page and the last page, and you have to meet in the middle. I mean, same thing with prose too in that way, I guess, but. It's just
but I know what you're saying, because it's a little different, because when you're limited, kind of.
You're breaking down how many panels per page, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, especially. Yeah, and you don't want to have 5 panels for every single page either. So then you need to kind of break it up a little bit to have more fun with the art side of it as well.
Yeah,
and some of that's going to come from the collaboration between you and the artist. But it first needs to come from you as the foundation, as the writer.
Yeah, because as the writer, you need to know what the flow is. You need to know how you're going to tell the story through images.
Yeah.
Because you're telling the story through words, and I feel like a lot of writers sometimes, especially when they're doing comic scripts or they're working on comics, they kind of try to tell the story as if they're writing the story, And I'm like, dude, you know that the artist is going to take care of half of this stuff, right?
Right.
You know, your story is kind of just pretty much for the writer to do what their for the artist to do their thing.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out how this is going to play out, especially, and that's where the work comes in for a comic book writer, is that you need to figure out the paneling. You need to figure out, and of course, there's a partnership with the artist that helps you out there, but you need to have an idea of what you want as you come into this.
Right. Yeah. And then the big thing too, of course, is you know, how many pages you have, and then the page flip, the big aha moment kind of thing. Yep. You got to use that, because that's where comics thrive, is those kind of things. The double page spread.
Oh yeah.
You always got to figure those out as the writer. And of course, like I said, the artist can help with that, but you definitely have to be the foundation, because they can't pull stuff out of you that you're not already relaying to them, kind of thing. So
yes, folks, is important. You need to know yourself. And I have to say, like, with writing, you're kind of like throwing the words in there, and you're figuring things out as you go. With a comic script, what ends up happening is that you need to know what the hell you're doing. Right. Even before you write the script to the comic.
Yeah. And so the way I do it normally is I'll have an outline of each page, like one sentence for each page of what I want first. So I have the plan, and then I'll go in and I can fairly easily write, you know, each page panel by panel and say basically what I'm trying to come across with the script, with the wording. But I won't have the actual final scripts wording wise, like bubbles and everything, until after I see the art completed, because they're going to change it slightly. So then I need to change, you know, what I'm going to do. And
because there's that's another thing that writers have trouble with when it comes to comic scripts is you know, the dialogue, because I feel like, you know, we use dialogue to tell story in regular writing. In comic scripts, it's more of an enhancement of the story. You're doing almost like aha moments with each word that's in there, because you can't use too many words.
Right. That you want the art to speak more than your writing, because if you don't want to say the same thing that the art is also telling you. You want to be saying something different. It's definitely an interesting art to itself, for sure.
Well, it's good, because I don't think we get to talk too much about the comic script aspect of things. So, you know, I know somebody's out there going, "Wait a minute, what?"
There is an art to it. It seems like there's not much words and much writing involved, but yeah, it's a lot of time. I can tell you that, at least for me.
I believe that, you know, the art is important to comics, but I do also believe that story is important to comics. You know, because you do have those people out there that you know, they kind of like belittle the writer aspect of things. You know, and I can see why, because it's a visual media, but at the same time, you know, and I guess I take it from a personal point where I'll buy a comic maybe once if I like the art, but if I didn't like the story, I am not buying that book again.
The art pulls you in, and the writing hooks you to continue with the story, for sure.
And it's the same thing the other way around, because I've found some great comics with great story, but then the art just doesn't work with the story. And I'm like, I don't feel like buying this.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. And the other thing too is, of course, the cover can get you, but then if the cover artist isn't the same artist in the interiors, then you're just pissed off that you bought it and you paid $5 or $4 or whatever it was. So my main covers are always my interior artist, which I mean most guys do, I think, but I don't want to fool anybody. I want you to know exactly what you're getting, because that drives me nuts when I'm at my local comic shop. So,
but I've seen it though, where instead of using their main artist as their main cover, they'll use other artists, but they still have the main artist as one of the covers.
Yeah.
And you're like, but wait a minute, you know, this is the guy right here. So you should be saying this is.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, I'm not trying to do any kind of trickery. You don't keep fans like that, you know.
Exactly.
You might have them for that first one, but then you'll get pissed off people.
Kevin's saying that the book looks awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dude. Yeah, I gotta say you've done an excellent job with this. I like what I've been hearing. I like the crafting that's gone into this. The thought process has gone into this. Like I said, I've seen enough stuff where nobody's really thought about the comic.
Right. Well, my whole like intro into writing, it wasn't like a side thing. Like I was trying to write a movie, and then because I couldn't fund the movie, I went to write a comic. It was always focused on I wanted to make a comic because I've grown up reading comics my entire life. So
Right.
this is my medium is comics. So I definitely think about it probably way too much and talk about it with my wife way too much to where she's like, sure. Whatever you're saying.
But it's funny you say that, and we know a lot of guys who started off like, yeah, I've started off as a comic collector, and it kind of crafts you into who you are. But I find that some people like don't think that that's important. They don't think that journey aspect of the kid you were reading those comics before has anything to do with what you're doing now. And I'm like, no, you learned a lot from that,
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, how did your journey begin from this comic guy to where you are now?
Yeah, so I mean, the way I got into comics in the first place was I was kind of born into it. My dad has been a collector since the '60s, and he's pretty much collected everything from the '60s to mid '90s that you could possibly think of. And just going through those long boxes as a kid before I was even buying my own comics. And then of course when I was a kid, Batman the animated series and X-Men 92, that was like the big thing. Of course Ninja Turtles as well. And so I was getting the Batman animated series comics, the X-Men comics, and then Jim Lee had the X-Men comics in the early '90s, and I was getting that. And so I was just like enthralled with all this stuff. So and also my dad likes to point out that I was born. So my name is Sean from Sean Connery of 007, nice. And then Logan because Wolverine. So he kind of said I was a geek born into it, and I had no choice in the matter.
You're a geek from like 10 different directions.
Yeah, exactly. So and I love all of it. So I fell out of it for a little while when I was like middle school, maybe some of high school. And then when I got married, oddly enough, we moved back to like really the same area as I grew up in, with the comic book store that I always went to. So one of the first things was I bought my house. I just got married, and then I went over to the comic book shop, and that was when the New 52 was out. And they just started with Scott Snyder's Batman and things like that. And then I became obsessed again, and I've been collecting ever since. So that's 17, 18 years now, something like that, that I've been every Wednesday, being the Wednesday warrior, going out to the LCS and get my comics. And I've always wanted to write, but I never saw an avenue into it. Yeah. And the way that really got me into the writing part was I started getting The Walking Dead Deluxe. And Robert Kirkman at the back, he has his what he did for his breakdown of every issue, and then he explains his thought process. And I saw how he was just putting one sentence per page of what he wanted to accomplish in the issue, and then how he was describing it was just awe-inspiring. And I was like, oh snap, it's that easy to start. Just start with an outline. Yeah. Have of course a thought of where you want to go with some kind of story, but then have an outline for a breakdown. And then that's when Scott Snyder and Brian Michael Bendis on Substack started their writing classes. So I got involved with those, and it reaffirmed a lot of the stuff that I didn't really realize were lessons in writing. It was just how my mind worked after reading so many comics. And that helps. And I have like notebooks upon notebooks of notes for all this stuff. And then I just started writing, and I was just trying to figure out a process of how I can make my own way into it. Yeah. That first issue was a nightmare writing wise, because that one issue took me like 10 months to figure out. And, you're also learning everything to do with comics on the technical side of ratios and RGB versus CMYK and all these technical things you have no idea about when you're just reading comics. But once I had that foundation, I just went running, and I've had 3 or 4 Kickstarter comics come out every year. Nice. And I continue to do at least hopefully 4 for a year. I just came out with my first trade in January for my first series, issues 1 through 4, The Fog Within, and now like my the hospice story that I did last year, The Scaled Key, that one I literally wrote almost the entire script on my birthday, and I continue to do that. I think I'm gonna try to do that this year too. Is the second issue on my birthday, write the entire thing, and just see how that goes. Because
that's a good goal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I gotta say, folks, you've heard all this beautiful stuff. You should go check it out. And you know, as you heard in the conversation, sometimes what happens, especially when it gets into comics, because finding all the books to learn how to write comics has taken me a lifetime to put them all together. It's not something people talk about. Writing comics is not something people talk. I think they talk about it more now.
Yeah.
But when we were coming up, they were not talking about writing comics.
Oh yeah, it was all about the artist for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So folks, go check this out. I put the link in the comment section. Our friend Sean has been really putting his heart into all this stuff, and you want to support that kind of stuff because that's the kind of creators you want to support. You want to support the ones that are making meaningful, worthwhile comics.
No, it looks awesome, Sean. I can't wait to get it when it finally funds. So congratulations. This should be good.
And that, Christine, I'm going to ask you this: have you considered writing a comic yourself?
I think I could probably write a comic because I write in kind of like a diary play format where I'm very dialogue heavy, and I think I could easily adapt it, but I don't necessarily try because I don't have the money for an artist to do it. So I think I would get kind of a little bit like infuriated if I spent all that time and I couldn't do anything with it.
I know that feeling.
The same thing happened when I wrote a children's book that no one's ever seen. It's a great story about
an issue there.
Yeah, and like, you know, you want to pay an artist fairly. I don't want to rip anybody off. You know, like $200 to $300 a page, and you know, a good book is about 24, you know, pages, give or take. You know, you can go up to 60 pages, and then, you know, that it adds up. And you know, I could do that, but then it's like, well, what else do I give up? Do I give up, you know, putting money down for a house or going on vacation or a new car? Like, I know you have to invest in yourself to get ahead, because I've seen writers where there's this one writer, she spent $10,000. She was a lawyer, and she shot up on like the bestsellers list because she had that money to get that promotion, to get the reviews.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of give and take, and you have to kind of decide what's best for you. And when you're a writer or an artist or any kind of creative.
Completely agree, because you know, we like to say it here all the time. You got to pay for the dream. Sometimes you pay for the dream by having a job.
Yeah, and sometimes the job makes it hard to do your dream.
Definitely. So then let's talk about that. How do you go from writing books to creating events?
I mean, I think they kind of go hand in hand to some degree, because lets me be creative. I'm like, you know, I'm like, okay, well, I want to, you know, like, have a story take place. Like my most recent book, it actually takes place in a Comic-Con situation. I can't say those exact words because of legal reasons. So like, yes, yeah. So I, you know, like I take these instances where I've seen things or I've worked on things, and I kind of put them into my books. And, you know, you take your life experiences, but you don't get pigeonholed into that idea. I think you just take a kernel of everything and kind of like, you know, make it blow up into popcorn sort of.
Yeah.
And you create something unique.
You've done how many events now? Because you know, you've been doing this for a bit now.
Well, I've been doing events for 5 years, and I do about one event a month, sometimes 2 events. So it kind of adds up, to be honest.
Wow.
And some of them are obviously bigger than others. You know, I have my big one this Saturday, but then the following week, it's like an Easter egg hunt with like 500 kids. So that's a different type of, you know.
That is a whole different type of event.
Yeah, it's feral but fun, you know.
I guess you go. It's feral.
Kind of like herding cats. Is that what you're saying, Christina?
It's actually no, the kids are great. In all honesty, it's just some of the parents get a little bit competitive, but I think
the usual.
Oh, man. I can only imagine. That's my egg. No, it's mine.
Or the parents take the eggs.
Dude, it's funny that you say that. A while back when I was it was the eclipse a couple years back, and a parent complained that why are we doing this eclipse on a day when the kids can't enjoy it completely? And I was sitting there going, what? It's an eclipse, folks. You know, we're not planning the eclipse.
And why aren't you planning it?
I mean, you get that sort of things. Like when I worked for the state parks, people said, can I pay you $20 to have the bear walk by my campsite? No, you can't do that. Or what language do they speak in? Like when I was a travel agent, they said, what language do they speak in England? Do they speak American? Or like I could go on and on about all the stupid things. You get it no matter what industry you work in, and you just kind of have to laugh at it.
Dude, my favorite thing when I was working in the hospital and I was working the kitchen was we would have vegetable lasagna on a certain day, and the patients would come up to me and go, what do you have? I go, vegetable lasagna. What's in the vegetable lasagna?
Meat, potatoes.
Well, you'd be surprised. Some restaurants actually do stick meat in the vegetarian dishes. I've seen that happen. Like, like the tomato bisque. Like, oh, we use chicken broth. So, like, you sometimes have to ask. Like,
but that's not the question.
Yeah, I know.
That was not the question. I get what you're saying, though, but that was not the question.
I know, but I think that's what they're trying. Some of them, at least, may be trying to say. I'm giving you the benefit
you
of the
give
doubt.
them way too much credit.
I think I just sympathize with that just because I am a vegetarian and I have that nightmare.
That's why I understand where the question's coming from, because I have friends and I know how they ask the question, and I've heard them ask the question other ways. There's times when you don't what's in the vegetable is that it comes from a certain place.
Yeah. So some questions are not equal to other questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got me. So
well, the animal farm.
Exactly. You got this Books in Bloom, and you've been working on this to get this done. How's it been getting this together?
Okay, so as you know, I've gone to many events, and last year I went to an event in Atlantic City called Aces Wild, and it was a scam event, for lack of that's like the long story short. But like it turned into this mess. All these authors got ripped off. It became this legal thing. And so I was like, you know what? I've seen a lot of bad events. I've read a lot of stuff. I'm like, what if I do something for the local authors? Because there's nothing really in this area for indie authors. Yes, there's the Morristown Book Festival, which is great, but they kind of stick to published, traditionally published authors. So it kind of leaves out those indie people that I think are a growing number of authors. So I just posted it in the New Jersey Authors Network, and I would say within 2 days, I filled up all the spots.
Wow.
And I actually have 20 authors on the wait list, and I have about 40 attending the event. Wow. And I felt really bad. It's just I wasn't expecting it to grow into this large thing so quickly. And as I told them, I said, hey, if we get a good attendance, next year I'll move it to the spring and we'll put it in the park, throw up a bunch of 20 by 30 tents, stick all the authors under the tents. And instead of it being 40 authors, maybe I have 100 or 80 or whatever, that way I don't have to turn people down. Is this event where all the authors will make a ton of money? I don't know, but I'm not charging like a ton of money for the authors. It's $25 to be a vendor for the event.
That's really decent. Yeah.
Yeah. And, if I make it into a huge thing, maybe I'll raise it $5, but you sell 2-3 books, you're kind of covered. And even if you don't, it's good experience for when you do those bigger events where I think everything's kind of like a stepping stone where you have to learn and kind of like pay your dues and learn and, get the exposure. I've been doing events, gosh, probably like not just my, like running them, but gosh, probably almost close to like 15, 20 years, you know? So after a while, you kind of learn what works and doesn't work. You know, and it'll be interesting because I've done art events. I've done, you know, every other type of events, martial arts, but I'm like, well, you know, I write books, so why not do a book event? And, you know,
I gotta say, I was surprised it took you this long, but I can see the origin of it, and it actually makes sense.
Well, what I did was the one year at the art festival, I had a whole row of
I remember,
authors.
yeah.
But unfortunately, that was also the year it was 95 degrees.
Oh,
And it was a May. You wouldn't think it'd be that hot, but I
no.
think that kind of hurt things. And they all had to bring their own tents. I said, well, if I do another author event, let's put up the tents for them. Let's get the tables there. Just let's make it as easy as possible. Like
Get
the same thing, like
yeah,
like
Especially if
with
it
the art.
rains or something. Yeah, you don't want to be stuck with that. Forget it. You know.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it inside the community center this year, just because it's March. It could be raining. It could be snowing. It could be 70 degrees. You just don't know.
You don't know. And we just came off of an 80-degree day, so
yeah, it's a little bit bipolar, but I'm kind of glad that the snow's melted. I was able to get the lawn signs into the ground. Like I've had them for 2 months, and every week I'd go outside, try stabbing the grounds, and I'm like, why won't these signs go in? And then finally, last Friday, we were able to get the signs into the ground, you know, because that is one of the things you hear a lot from smaller town events. There's no signage. There's no signage.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You know, you try to accommodate people and to do what they want. And, you know, one of the interesting things about planning events is you don't want to put any of the similar writers next to each other unless they request it, or same artist. So you have to sit there, and it's kind of like this puzzle of like, okay, I'm gonna put this person here, this person here. This one needs an end spot. This one needs that. And you're just staring at it for hours, like trying to be Rain Man and come up with this magical layout that hopefully works and makes everybody happy.
It's a huge puzzle.
Yeah, this one wasn't as bad as some of the larger ones. Like when you have 200 different vendors, it becomes a little bit more difficult. And I can imagine what it's like for like New York Comic Con, where they have floors and floors. You know, it's you know, it's very hard planning some massive events, and I give people who do that thing a lot of credit.
I gotta say, you know, you're getting experience here. You've been doing pretty good. I love all the different events that you guys have for the area. I'm looking forward to seeing how this book event goes, because, you know, I feel like the book events have kind of like disappeared all over the tri-state area.
Like I said, that there aren't really that many. Like there's the Morristown Book Festival. I think Orange has one. And then there's the Passaic Book Festival. And then in South Jersey, there's the Collinswood Book Festival. But those are the only 4 that I really know about.
Right.
And again, the 2 in North Jersey, they're for traditionally published authors. The one down in Collinswood, sort of near Camden. So that could be a bit of a ride for people from, like, say, New York City or North Jersey. So, you know, this is my love letter to indie authors. And, you know, I hope we get a good crowd. Today, I got the program guides. And when the seniors were coming out of bingo, I'm handing out the things. I'm like, please come to my event. You know, because that's the worst thing when you're planning something and nobody shows up. But same thing with like a book signing or a comic book event. You want people to show up.
I like the fact that it's free, because right away you have a head start on everybody else, because, you know, and I always tell the people who do the free events, make sure that thing is in big letters. It's free. This event is free, because it starts to get people thinking about it, because, you know, if you're going to spend money, you're going to be like, if it's free, like I can go check that out. I want to buy a couple of books, especially the book people. You know, they're like, I can buy a couple more books I'm not going to read.
Well, that's the biggest complaint when we go to cons, right?
Oh, it is.
See these families go, and it's like the best thing a con organizer can do is give the kids free admission. I mean, they charge $20 for a kid. That's like, you get 2 kids, it's $40. I had 4. I mean, I'm spending like $200 before I get in the door.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm not going to spend money on a vendor if I don't have the money in my pocket just to get through the door. So I think free event is amazing. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I think the problem is a lot of people, they don't really care if the vendors make money. They're all about making the money themselves. But being, I work for a government agency or a nonprofit, it's a little bit different. Yes, you want to make money, you want to break even or make a little bit extra, but the goal is to give stuff to the community when you work for the government or a nonprofit. So, I'm not here to kind of rip anybody off. I want these authors who are spending their time there to at least sell at least 1 book per author.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. Hey, if they could sell more, that, power to them, and again, it's about exposure. A lot of these authors, this might be their first event or their, 3rd or 4th. Get your feet wet, and you kind of have to hold hands a little bit and, push them out there.
Yeah, the biggest thing I see is, people investing in a table like at Bix or whatever, and they're artists and they get great work and they're sitting there and not even looking up. I said, get up, talk to people. I mean, how are you going to get your name out if you're not even going to make an effort to say, here I am, this is what I do, So
yeah, you definitely make more money standing than you do sitting. But you do profile people a little bit after a while. You're like, you can kind of tell the people that will buy your stuff and won't buy your stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's just me, but
oh no, it works the same thing when I'm doing interviews. I can walk through a place and go, you're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me. It doesn't matter what I tell you. You're not going to talk to me.
I had to freaking hit Rafael over the head when I was at my table. It's like,
see, but I
it's an opportunity, man.
Dude, one of the best things when I'm at a con is a person that comes up to you and goes, "Look at my stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, give me the spiel," because sometimes you're looking at all this stuff, and you're kind of overwhelmed, and or you just see certain things. It's always great when somebody who has enough passion for their stuff goes, I want to tell you about my stuff. And I'm like, all right, tell me about your stuff.
You have to watch time limits, though, because there are people at these events that they're very passionate about their stuff. And it's really wonderful. But I've had people that'll talk 30, 45 minutes, an hour when you're trying to sell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just have to be but I guess for you want to get to other interviews, too. So you want them to give their pitch within 10 minutes.
Well, that's why I do it the way I do it, because we do the little Instagram videos where you got about 3 minutes. If you can't say it in the 3 minutes, the most I might give you is 5 minutes, because that's still in that range. But usually when I go up to you, I go, okay, dude, we're gonna talk. We're gonna do this. You're gonna give me the spiel. Give me the spiel. You already know what the spiel is. You know what people come to your table, you give them the spiel. And I feel like I help them learn their spiel. Because now they're on the spot, they got to figure it out, and they got to get it done.
You have to refine it, yeah, for
exactly.
Sure. You can't start with this happened 3,000 years ago, and now let me tell you those 3,000 years real quick. And go into that, yeah.
You have to be able to tell us what your thing is about in 30 seconds or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, the spiel you're giving anyone has got to be attention spans, or people have they're that of a gnat. I mean, people want to know exactly what you're doing, and if they're interested or not, they'll move on. So gotta be quick.
I gotta say, Christina, you've gotten good at your spiels for your books, so I feel like you're there already. So it makes it a little easier for you to go, all right, guys, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any my own book events in a few months, so I'm a little rusty. I have my next event, April 11th, Cyclone Con.
Cyclone Con. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do a couple pitches, and then maybe after the 4th or 5th, I got it down.
Because that's how it is, though. But there's always a warm up. Even when I go to an event, I don't jump into the interviews, because I've learned a long time ago that you don't do that. Because you're in a certain place when you first get to an event, unless you already hyped. If I'm already hyped and I get in there and I'm like, then I'll just jump in and go, let's go, let's do this.
But like, give me more caffeine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, the good thing about me, and it's the same reason why I love doing the show, is that I always have a question. There's always another question. There's times where I'll leave certain questions off the table, which is good, because when you come back, I'm still gonna have those questions. You know, because I always feel like when you talk to people, when it's a conversation, you know, and it's normal, it's flowing. There's things that are going to pop up. There's questions that are going to pop up as you do the conversation. It is what it is, folks.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So we got this. It's free. It's happening this Saturday. It's inside, you said, right?
Yes, it's it's this Saturday 10 to 4 at the Randolph Community Center, which is in Randolph, New Jersey, 30 Calais Road, which is a French word, Randolph, New Jersey. People always ask me, it's Calais. Try spelling it, but it's right. It's a big yellow building with a blue sign that says Community Center. Plenty of parking. I think there's like 180 parking spots there. Free parking. Yeah. Hopefully people will come.
Folks, free event. As soon as we say free, you should be there. Bells on. That means you're not paying for anything except you getting over there. And maybe the books you buy.
Supporting local businesses too, like and authors, and we got the Friends of the library itself. They're doing a fundraiser. We got Barini's Food Restaurant. We got local musicians playing, author talks, blind date with the books, book marketing station.
Nice.
Like almost 40 authors.
Sounds like a great event, folks. And of course, you know, these are the better events, the ones where you know, it's a community taking care of things, because you know, it's a community event. And it's free.
Yes, free.
Exactly. Christina, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself? Let them know where you're coming from.
So I'm an author of 30 books. I'm working on my 31st book. It's about Atlantis, the one I'm currently writing. And been doing this forever. I wrote my first book when I was 12. I was published by the time I was in high school. Writing's my passion, and you know, my dream is to one day see one of my books on the big screen, not necessarily for money, but just to see something that I've written come to life. And, you know, because these are like stories that play out in my head. So, you know, maybe showing it to people, I'm not so crazy.
I got to say, I completely understand where you're coming from, because sometimes we got to get these voices out of our heads.
Yeah. Sometimes you talk to yourself as you're writing. You're like, oh, this sounds good.
I just hate it when the character won't shut up.
And you need to answer yourself then. That's another problem.
Sometimes I have to. If I'm stuck, I'm like, okay, this is, you know, my poor dog probably think I'm schizophrenic or something.
I tell people all the time. Sometimes I just want the guy to shut up and stop talking, leave me alone, and they don't shut up until you finish whatever you're writing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it gets really weird, folks. It gets really and then people always look at you like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, just be happy you don't got that guy talking to you in your head. It's worse when the villain likes to talk to you.
I kind of like it when the villain talks, just because I think it gives the story a little bit more urgency.
I agree. It's always fantastic because, you know, because you're getting a whole different point of view, and I also feel like now you're trying to get the hero to shut this guy up. Come on, Ralph, you know you like me.
What I'm writing now, it's actually told from dual point of views. It's the female lead character in modern times, and then the flashbacks are told from a guy's point of view. He's a prince of Atlantis. So it's very different. Like, you know, you're going from modern times, and while Atlantis is advanced in its own ways,
It is, yeah.
It's a kind of different, brutal society in other ways.
Yeah, folks. Christina's books are fantastic. You guys really do need to check them out. She has a lot of books for you to do that. And I put the link right there in the comment section. Is it not popping up? No, I see the Randolph. Hold on. So I got to put it in again.
Yeah, my most recent one is called Lights, Camera, Axum, and that came out in October. And it takes place in an amusement park with a serial killer.
It's a good read.
Yes.
Yeah, Christina was on our Halloween show talking all about it.
Yeah. But I don't want to hog up all the time. I know Paul has some stuff that he wants to say too.
Oh no,
about
you
his
can have
stuff.
as much time as you want, Christina.
Yeah, you can have as much time as you want, Christina. Paul's going to be doing his stuff in a second. Actually, Paul's going to do his stuff right now. Paul, why don't you tell the people all the good stuff? Tell them why you're the host with the most.
Yeah, so thanks, guys. I appreciate this opportunity as always. I mean, Time Enforcers is a role-playing video game, digital comic book that makes learning history fun, and the universe is expanding before my eyes. I go to these cons with Ralph and say, man, I this just feeds my ADD. I mean, I go from one thing to the next. I'm never, not busy because there's always something to do. So I'm currently working on episode 2. Episode 1 is available in the app stores, so it's Mac, PC, iOS, and Android. But episode 2 is, it's divergent a little bit. I've had to kind of rejig a little bit because you can't use videos in a lot of the platforms that I'm creating. So now I'm creating artwork that is going to be animations. And so because I have to create this artwork, I decided to make a comic book. So I'm going to make a physical comic book, use the artwork for the animations, and then I go to Long Island Tabletop on Saturday, and now it's like I'm going to do a role-playing tabletop game now. So it's like everything I'm doing in the comic book is going to apply to the role-playing tabletop game because I created what I call dossiers of the characters. Those actually are going to turn into trading cards, and I'm a history guy that's, I'm not a real history guy, I'm a marketing guy, but I'm, learning history as I go. And so I'm finding all these questions now. And so I'm making a compendium of questions around feudal Japan. And the role-playing tabletop game is actually going to have 3 episodes in it. So it'll be episode 1, Time Out of Time in Feudal Japan. It'll be the second episode that I'm working on for the video game now. It's called Flying into the Corona Storm. And then it'll include episode 3 as well, which is a time-altering colonial conundrum. So that's going to feature Benjamin Banneker, as well as we're going to have their debut our kaiju. So it's pretty exciting. I can fast track a lot of my content because I don't have to worry about programming it, but I'm going to do the game at the same time. So it's going to be one wild ride from now until June when I do Garden State Comic Fest. I'm hoping to have the book done by then, and then hopefully a prototype for the game as well. And so I'm just pumped. I mean, like I said, my ADD is just going off the wall here. And it's just cruising big time. I could use help, but you know what? I'm just going to get it done by hook or crook at this point.
So, I gotta say, it's amazing to watch the professor. I mean, Paul, do all the stuff that he does because, dude, I don't know how you do all that stuff without the help, and that's why we want to get the Paul some help.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game. And it's just like I'd really love to have artwork for each of the cards. I know it's not feasible, but I'm going to at least try and do something for the initial launch, at least the prototype, so it looks good. And then everything's going to revolve around Kickstarter. So, I see a lot of people doing the Kickstarter campaigns. I'll definitely do a Kickstarter for the comic book where I can feature some great artists that I met over the course of last year and do variant covers. And then I want to do a Kickstarter for the tabletop game as well, which I think could take off. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from the games that I saw on Saturday. And I think the biggest takeaway is make it simple, make it easy to understand, and make it fun. And those are the 3 components that I'm going to do for this game. It's going to be a type of game you can learn in literally 5 minutes. I've got it figured out. And it's all about history. So it's everything you want to learn about feudal Japan, you will with episode 1. Episode 2 will have Amelia Earhart, Detective Nico Time, Togo, the dog that ran the sled run in Alaska in 1925, and then Maisie, our mechanic who works on Amelia's plane. That'll be episode 2. Episode 3 will have Benjamin Banneker, who invented the first wooden clock in the colonial period. It'll feature Ben Franklin, who will not be sporting a kite, but will be sporting a fire hose because he actually funded the first nonprofit in Philadelphia, and it was a fire company. And then we're going to be introducing a Native American, and I tipped it. We're going to be doing our kaiju as well. So we're going to be covering a lot of history. And like I said, this is just, I think, going to take off. Just in terms of the interest for myself, I just really feel that, one, getting the experience for kids to want to learn history is a challenge. And I think making it as fun as possible is going to make them more interested in know how important it really is to learn this stuff. And that's really what makes me excited about it.
You know, your game kind of makes me think about the game Tales of Arabian Night. It's a 40-year-old game that's really popular. Mm-hmm. I think you could take that history element and turn it into this storybook game and kind of take cues from that one and then develop it into something big. Yeah. I think people who are really into board games would know about that one.
Yeah, that's what's inspiring me, Christina. Is just, you know, there's opportunities here. What I love about it is there's no limit to the content, right? I mean, a lot of these games that I play as a player, video game or even role playing, you're kind of limited by the content because there's only so much story you can write. But with history, it's infinitesimal. You can introduce any characters you want. And because it's a comic book, you know, you leave reality behind. I mean, the whole point is to have fun, but learn as you go. And the facts that I present in the game, whatever it is, video game, or if it's going to be a tabletop game or a comic book, any facts are going to be referenced. And I provide all the references that I use to find this information. So if you want to explore more, you go out and do the research yourself, which is ultimately the goal. I really want to get players interested in wanting to learn more about these characters that we're presenting, because I'm finding out about things that people I never studied history about in school. And, you know, these are the people that are overlooked that really had an impact on our society and our civilization. So it's really, that's what makes it fun for me.
Yeah, folks, the professor is busy. Paul is busy, you know, so you got to help them out.
Yeah, I just, like we're in the process of going for a grant now. I mean, we got our funding through Fractured Atlas, so we have a fiscal sponsorship with them, but grants are dried up at the moment, so we're waiting for grants to clear out. And they're talking about opening up the SBIR program as well, which is huge. If they can get that going, that'll be like a big jumpstart for me, because like you, Christina, I don't believe in not paying people properly for their work. I mean, I want to make sure everyone's compensated, you know, whoever I hire, and that's really the biggest challenge for me right now. So that's why it's a total bootstrap for me. Just, you know, get it going. And then once money starts coming in, I can start doing the thing I want to do, is hire more people, create more content, and fast track this as much as possible, which would be really cool.
Yeah, folks, that's why you need to help the professor today. You need to help.
Buy my game, it's $2, you know, not that big a deal. It's like, it's not a big buy-in here. It's okay. No, seriously. I mean, I really want to, you know, focus on getting this message out. The more I can do this, that's why I love the show, is just talk about what I do and just spread the word, which is really the best thing.
And folks, I have to say, like, I go to a lot of conventions. Paul's been going to a lot of them with me. One of the best things to do as a creator is go to conventions, go to local conventions, check them out, especially if you want a table at some point or another, because you want to get an idea of where you should table, where you should go. And the best thing to do is always to check that con out before you decide to join that con, before you decide to do that con, because it gives you an idea of how that con works. You know, it's a different view as a customer coming into the con, but you get a feeling for the con, and if it works for you, because some cons just don't work for you. You know, this, you know, and it's better to know that before you try it.
Yeah, like New York Comic Con didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I was told while I was there, for writers, you're better off doing San Diego Comic Con. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't spend all that money.
Yeah, it's a big buy-in, right? That's my scary part of it, is like, if I spend this much money, what kind of benefit I'm going to get? I mean, I like to sell stuff, but I'm hoping at least networking, you know, that's ultimately what I'm looking for. And if I can network with the right people, then it's a win for me, even if I don't sell stuff. So, you know,
I think it depends on what your project is. So like if you're an artist, or if you're a writer, or, you know, you're a board game designer, different events are going to do better for you.
Yep.
And you need to know what's going to work for you. Sean, have you hit the con, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah. So I've been writing a little bit over 3 years, and I just started doing cons last year. I did 5 cons, kind of staying in my area in Virginia. But I reached out 2 hours away or so. And then this year I've already done 2 cons. my first one this year, actually, I was one of the featured creators, which was cool. I didn't even know until I got there, and they said I'm next to the voice actor from Pokemon, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that was great. They got a little in my head a little bit too, because they had security for that guy to like no pictures please kind of thing, but he was like still at my table saying that, so I was like, yeah, no pictures. I'm you need to pay for these pictures kind of thing. But yeah, so I'm trying to reach out a little further in cons hopefully next year, because by then I'll have my trade in hand, I'll have some anthologies, I'll have like 10 books that I can sell kind of thing, so the bigger buy-ins of cons will make more sense instead of just having one comic trying to make back that money kind of thing. I really want to get to Baltimore and Heroes Con. Those are my two big ones that I really want.
Con's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah,
Baltimore's good.
Yeah,
Awesome
Baltimore's
Con
great.
in DC is really good. Fan Expo was my best event, like in Philly.
Yeah.
I think Frank agrees with you. Frank says he usually does pretty good at the fan expos. Yeah, I gotta say, Sean, you're doing it the right way. You're kind of like, okay, let's start close by. Let's get a little farther. Let's get a little farther. Yeah, because that way, I feel like a lot of people, instead of like looking at their local conventions, they kind of like want to jump into the fray. I'm like, no. Do your local conventions, folks.
Yeah,
that's what gives you.
It's a real art. I mean, besides, like you said, pitching and doing a 30-second pitch, setting up your booth is like, you learn so much about what works, what doesn't. And it's like you're not going to find it at a big con. You're going to find it by test marketing it first. And I figured that out pretty quickly. What's working, what's not. I mean, I had this whole camera set up where I wanted to have people against the green screen to have them place for my characters. Like, forget it. That was the biggest waste of time and money ever. I said I'll never do that again. I thought it was a cool idea, but no one was doing it. So, all right, no big deal. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just got a neon sign for my stuff with like a giant battery pack. I feel like it like draws people in, but I'm really envious of the artists, because they have like they roll up with like one box and that's all their stuff. And meanwhile, I have like 5 suitcases of books that are 50 pounds each. I feel like I'm gonna die as I'm dragging it in.
I don't know how you do it by yourself, because we helped you. And it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you got the bigger books. It's not even like it's comic books. You got the nice thick books and the.
So I try to write in the bigger font because people have a hard time seeing. So
which is good, yeah.
I do like a size. I think I do 13, 12 or 13. It depends on the book.
See, folks, learning a lot of stuff here. But you guys should start close by. I feel like a lot of people really do that mistake where they go for a bigger con first. It's the same thing as going to a con. You do not do New York Comic Con as your first convention, because I get overwhelmed and I go every year.
Yeah, sensory overload, that one. Forget it. I'm like walking around, it's like, where do I look next?
Yeah.
I'm trying to New York Comic Con. Like 20 people crowded me into a table. It's like, okay, I can't just stand and look. Forget it. It's
You're just standing in lines the whole time. Yeah. No, that's. I mean, it's great. I love New York Comic Con.
It's great. It's
New
York
is one of my favorite places ever. I'm actually a New York fan, so I love going to New York in general. But I definitely could not table. I don't think I'll ever table at New York Comic Con because I know the price. I know some friends that do it every year because they live in New York or Jersey, and I know the price and I know how strenuous that would be. So unless I had like a whole team of people, there's no way that's ever happening. But I'll definitely do the indie ones like Baltimore and Heroes. Those are my big ones for sure. And then all the locals that are either free or like a small buy-in. That's totally worth it just to get people to know who I am in the area. So
have you done Galaxy Con, which is in Virginia sometimes?
Yeah. So Galaxy Con, that's happening, I think 2 weeks from now. So I might actually be there, but I'm not doing the table yet. I might do that next year as well. I do have some friends that do that one every year. It's like an hour away, so it's not that bad.
That's not that bad. Okay.
Yeah.
See, folks, do your research.
Oh yeah.
I just ask people, hey, is this good? Yes, no, okay.
See, that's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially like I feel like Sean brought something important up. Know your prices, and know if like we were talking about Christina's $25, dude. That's a great convention to go to. I find that most of my friends, they say as long as they make their table back, they're fine. They're happy, you know. So if you can make your table back, you know, that's what you should look at. You know, how many books is going to sell to make your table back? How much merchandise is it going to be to sell to get your table back? It's important to get your table back because now you feel like a little more relaxed. You're like, okay, the kind of paid for itself.
Yeah, I'm happy if I get half the table back. That's
and like with New York Comic Con, to put it in perspective, like for a writer or an artist, if you get into that one, it's like $550. If you want the Wi-Fi, it's $250. Parking is $200. A hotel, if you want to stay within like a mile of there, unless you go to Jersey, you're looking at about $2,100 to $2,500. You stay on the Jersey side, it's about $1,600. And then filing the taxes with the state of New York, nightmare as well, because it's New York. And, you know, then you have to say, all right, you're standing all day. Are you going to walk to your hotel? Or are you going to Uber to your hotel? Well, I guess New York fees, that's $35 for a mile. And it adds up.
Yeah.
Last time I took a taxi, it was $50 to go like 20 blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. See, and what Christina's saying is important. You need to look at the bigger picture. Sometimes it's not just the price for the table. It's if you're going away for a con, you have all these other prices that you need to look at.
Yeah, and if you have an assistant, you have to buy them food at the very least if you're not paying them.
Yeah, if you're not paying for the assistant to go, for travel, for the hotel, there's a lot involved, folks. Just make sure you plan your stuff out.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of books, our friends, here we go, have their book out right now, and it's on Kickstarter, and it's got a couple of hours left. I think it's 9 hours left. I'm going to let them talk about it in their video. Here we go. Let's go to the videotape.
2 outcasts, 1 dying world. The truth they uncover will ignite or destroy it. Dark, a feline wanderer haunted by the fall of her clan, has lost everything. Her home, her people, and her place among humankind. Zarus, an exiled demon burdened with forbidden powers, carries the final message of a mysterious order. Each is hunted by the same enemy, the Frayed, an army of psychic undead that is spread across the kingdom like a plague, and drawn to Grasmere, the last stronghold of humanity, where the long-lost phoenix god Reku slumbers. To have any hope against the storm, Dark and Zarus must work together to unlock the ancient mysteries of the Phoenix and root out the elusive force behind the Frayed. But trust is hard to come by, and in a world of dying gods and doomsday prophecies, a single doubt could doom them all.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Sapolo.
And I'm Matt Conant, and we are the co-authors of the epic fantasy Dark and Zarus.
We're so excited to bring this to you. This book was a long time in the making. It was inspired by a D&D campaign that we both played in, but we felt like our characters didn't get their time to shine. So we created a whole universe from scratch so we could tell their story.
This is Lord of the Rings meets The Princess Bride. We have epic battles, fighting under the ocean, floating castles, psychic zombie hordes, and all the other things you would expect from a high-stakes fantasy story. But we also have backgrounds as screenwriters and comedy writers, so there is plenty of banter and snark and humor to offset the seriousness of the story.
We've worked with publishers in the past for our sci-fi novels, but we're excited and terrified to have this be our first self-published novel. We've had our grimy little mitts in every part of this, from the writing to the revising to formatting to choosing our cover artist, all done by real humans.
This is coming to you not because of any outside deadlines or requirements or marketing quotas, but because we feel that this is the absolute best possible version of this story. And we love every part of it. And we think you will too.
As far as rewards go, for those of you who are gamers, because this story was inspired by a role-playing game, we have some backer levels that include the chance to play a game set in the world of Dark and Zarus with us.
For those of you who are readers, we have lots of other cool rewards like bookmarks, digital art assets, and even the ability to add your own character to the Dark and Zarus universe.
Welcome to the world of Dark and Zaris.
We've had them on the show before. They're fantastic, great writers. And I love the fact that it's based on their D&D setting. And you know, sometimes, you know, your character, when you're playing D&D, you don't get to shine. And I feel like that's the best thing to do, is just write your own story. You know, folks, we love creativity. We love D&D. We just came from Long Island Tabletop. Laura was supposed to be on the show last week, but stuff happened. So we will have her on the show soon, and we'll talk more about all the beautiful stuff they're doing. But right now, go to the Kickstarter and help them out. This is a fantastic little book, as you can see. So go check it out. And I think that is everything, folks. Sean, why don't you tell people one more time where they can find you so they can go check you out?
Yep. So, of course, the Kickstarter is on until April 3rd, and it's Recon and the Wild One. You can also find me on all the socials. I'm Sean Wood _writer on Facebook, on X, on Blue Sky, on Reddit, wherever you can think of. I'm pretty much there. I'd love to talk about my comics or the process or anything you'd want to talk about in general. I'm pretty easygoing to talk to, and I just love talking about this whole thing. So just find me everywhere and talk to me.
As you guys can tell, it's easy to talk to him. So go talk to him. Pick his brain, you know.
Yeah.
Folks, sometimes the best thing to do as a creative is to talk to other people. I know it's hard as a creative, but sometimes that's the best thing to do. Go ahead, Christina. Tell all the people the good stuff. Go for it.
Well, my personal is ChristinaGarlic.com. I have my spelling of my name underneath my name on the screen. And then if you're interested in coming to that event, again, it's this Saturday, 10 to 4 at the Randolph Community Center in Randolph, New Jersey.
Yeah, folks.
Okay. Hope to see you guys there.
Just about to say, Paul and I will be there.
Yes.
You see us, say hi, and who knows, maybe you'll be in the trailer.
Take some selfies too.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I want to see who's there, what kind of books are there. It's always fun to go to these things, especially book events, because it's always great to see new books. Who doesn't want a new book?
There's lots of sci-fi and a lot of romance, so if that's your thing. But we do have a lot of other genres too.
I like that, and I saw that there was all different types of stuff. So, folks, book event, go check it out. and I heard about all that food you were talking about, so I'm like, ooh, food.
You have free cookies and hot chocolate too.
Oh, she said free.
Yeah.
You can't pay me to not go.
I know. I was at ShopRite today, just throwing cookies into the cart, and they're like, "Why is your whole cart filled with cookies?" I'm like,
"We got an event."
Yeah.
Oh man, folks. Yeah, well, we're gonna have fun this weekend. Join us there. Now, like I said, if you see us, say hi. We might put you in the trailer. And I think that is everything, folks. Of course, on this show, when it ends, I press the button, and where it stops. Oh, wait, almost forgot. Friday the 13th. We have a Friday the 13th show. Of course, you know, I can't have Friday the 13th without doing a Friday the 13th show. I know some of you out there is like, it's bad luck, but for me, it's a lucky day. So I want to share my luck with all of you doing a special Friday the 13th show, getting all spooky ooky. And on top of that, we're going to be having some little stories or little bits to share with you, because we wrote something for the event. Because on Sunday, it's March 15th, which is the Ides of March. And we all know I love the Ides of March. So beware, folks.
They filmed Friday the 13th 30 minutes away from Randolph. And it's Blairstown, New Jersey.
That's great, because one of my favorite movies is Saturday the 14th. And that's where we're going to be, Saturday the 14th.
I'm just saying, if you have a car, you can head over there and see Crystal Lake.
You can get slashed yourself.
They do tours there.
Yeah, I've heard about that. In my head, always is the story that you're going to go and the whole thing's going to happen to you, you know, because it's going to happen meta. So folks, join us on Friday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time as we beware, folks. Beware. Come on, have some spooky ooky fun on Friday the 13th. With that, now I'll say it. I'll press the button, and where it stops, nobody